one of the key reasons we're going to be farming the ocean is that our climate change is pushing our food system out to sea. And the beautiful thing about the ocean is you can grow zero input food. You can grow food that takes no fresh water, no fertilizer, no feed, making it hands down the most sustainable form of food production on the planet. And not only that, the crops, the seaweeds, the shellfish breathe life back into the ecosystems. These are the rainforests of the ocean, just soaking up sunlight, carbon, nitrogen to grow. So the more of these crops that we grow, the better off we are. What I did was, instead of looking at existing markets like, oh, people like to eat salmon, let's grow salmon, I looked to the ocean and asked, what does it make sense to grow? What's unique about it as an agricultural space? And what it says is, why don't you grow things that don't swim away and you don't have to feed? And as soon as you make that conceptual leap, then it's very simple. 10,000 ocean plants that are in the ocean, hundreds of kind of shellfish we can grow. So imagine this underwater garden, right? And you've got anchors down at the bottom of the ocean floor, and then lines, ropes up to the surface, and then additional ropes down below. And it's sort of think of an underwater scaffolding system. And then we use that scaffolding system to grow our different crops. So the seaweed we attach to the lines and it grows vertically downwards. Next to that, we'll have scallops in lantern nets and mussels in these long socks that look sort of like sausages. And then oyster cages down below and clams in the mud. So our seaweeds, for example, soak up 5 times more carbon than land-based plants. Our oysters filter nitrogen out of the water column, which is a huge cause of spreading dead zones around the globe. And our crops are zero input, so no fresh water, no fertilizer, no feed. So we've just decided that we will only farm regenerative species because that's what the climate demands. We need to not just sort of grow food, we need to grow food that really breathes life back into our ecosystem. So depending on where you are in the country, it'll cost between $20,000 and $50,000. You need a lease and a boat, right? That's it. Greenwave seeds reefs. So we don't own farms. We open source our technology because open sourcing is the key to replication, right? And we need to replicate fast in the era of climate change. So our allies have farms dispersed through Alaska, Maine, throughout New England, California, up in North America, and they're just spreading every day. We've trained over 120 farmers and hatchery technicians, and our goal is to train 10,000 new farmers in the next 10 years. So we're one of the first industries to design from scratch for climate resiliency, right? And so that's always present in our mind. At the same time, in the coldest sense, our seas are rising. That's more farmland for the ocean farmer. We can either build seawalls and flee the coast, or we can turn around and embrace the ocean as one of the core solutions to climate change and really design something from the bottom up. Let's take all the lessons from land-based agriculture, from industrial aquaculture, and build food the right way, right? Build agriculture the right way. And I think that's what's really exciting is, as a farmer, how do you keep climate resiliency in mind every time you make a design decision? So I actually think agriculture is one of the core solutions. I think we're going to flip agriculture as one of the core drivers of climate change to one of the core sources of solutions for climate change. And that's what's so exciting. Greenwave works with a lot of indigenous communities in Alaska and New Zealand and other places. And one of the questions is, will this be the next white land grab, but of the ocean? Right now, indigenous communities don't have the right to farm right in front of their own communities. right? So there's an incredible amount of fear. So I think one of the things that really need to do is really protect Indigenous rights and the rights to farm. One really important new thing that we're doing is in the next 2 months, we're releasing an online platform, training platform with a toolkit. We have a waiting list of over 6,000 people just here in the US for our programming. So even before COVID, we knew we had to go online. So this is a toolkit where you can farm plan, where you have a budget builder, you can work with your design and redesign for the farm, and then a farmer dashboard where you can input data, and then a carbon and nitrogen auction platform. And I think that will be the future for us, and that's going to be coming on in the next 2 months.